Ladies and gentlemen, today is May 29th, 2013, and this is the KNKL show. Daily, live stream, or whatever we want to call it, day 58. I'm your host, Kienan Lafferty, and today we are going to be jumping back into Lovely Candy Lulu, Bittersweet Lulu, and Lollipoppy, the piece that I was working on over the past 2 weeks, and we are going to be finishing it today. We're going to be jumping into light speed and shooting to the end of it. Hopefully, because I want to finish it and post it on the forums, on League of Legends, and just have it be done. But before we get into that, we need to take a stroll. Actually, we don't need to take a stroll down the Lovely Lane today. Rather, we just need to talk about the art contest, because you guys have just over a week and a half to participate. Send in your awesome pieces in hopes of claiming the blue giraffes as your trophies. Among sketches, one-of-a-kind sketches done by me, sent to you with love, and all those good things. So week and a half left on that. You can click the link down below if you're on YouTube, or just go to Emma Comic Online and you can click on contests. Alrighty, before we move into it, I want to take time to say thank you to everyone who has contributed their time, money, or talent to the cause of Emma and the show. Those people can be found here with their glittering, sparkly names. Thank you to everyone. If you'd like to get your name on this list for next month, people who have been donating, I'm going to be moving you to next month. That way your name isn't up for just one day. You know what I mean? But yeah, just go to Emma Comic Online, donate, help out, do anything, and I'll put your name on it. And yeah, things will be good. And by the way, guys, I just want to make sure that you guys know there are still plenty of the limited edition posters. Only 90 of these will ever be printed. Let's get your hands on them now. Alright, guys, let's move on. Let's get all that stuff out of the way. Get that crap out. Okay, yeah, let's get out of there. And let's get started, shall we? I always have the worst fear that the freaking mic is not on. That always ticks me off whenever the mic is not on. Alright, but it is. It is. Rest assured it is. And we are going to go ahead and get started. And you're going to watch me work as quickly as possible to see if we can get this thing done. Done and done. Alright, so let's get rid of this. Get rid of this and this, because all we need are these last little things here. And we're just going to be painting and having some fun. Painting today and having fun. And today is Whatever Wednesday, for those of you who know. So that means we basically just like to chill, kick back, have some fun. So yeah, if there's any questions that you have for me as I'm working on this, feel free to ask. Like, for instance, the drivers are not running. Why are the drivers not running? Don't worry, it only takes a second to fix it. But yes, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and I will be happy to answer and send them back to you. Yes. Okay, so it looks like we should be good to go now. Yeah? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. You know you want to. Come on. Okay. Yes. Back in business. Back in business. I like it. Alright, so you guys are going to watch me work at light speed. And for those of you who have not gone and seen the new Star Trek movie, go see it, because it is really, really cool. I'm not even a big fan of Star Trek, but I saw that movie and I was like, this is awesome. This is brilliant. Brilliant. And I feel like I'm becoming a Trekkie. I'm becoming a Trekkie just watching that stuff. I used to think that Star Trek was like, that's like Star Wars, but for wannabes, right? But Star Trek is actually really cool in itself. If anything, I think I might be a little bit more biased towards Star Trek now. So, like I said, I'm a Trekkie. I'm becoming a Trekkie. I'm becoming more nerdy as the days roll on. But that is another conversation for never, and we're getting back into this. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want to put too much detail into this, just enough to kind of get by, because I'm thinking in terms of like focal points, right? People are going to be looking at the faces here and everything that kind of surrounds them. And this is sort of the mentality that I used to do the old splashes with when I was working for Riot. I would do a lot of detail in the focal points, i.e. the face and, you know, the armor, basically around the character. And then the backgrounds would tend to complement and lose a little bit of that detail, right? Because A, it was faster to do it that way, and B, I kind of liked it. It was kind of a cool little stylistic choice that I kind of enjoyed, and I felt like it complemented the character without taking too much time. You know, it complemented the character and did everything that it needed to do and allowed me to finish and move on to the next splash piece. And that was really, really awesome. Because as much as I would have loved to spend a lifetime on each and every splash, because I do love all the characters of League de Leyendos, specifically the Yordles. Unfortunately, when you're in the professional world, you just don't have time to dilly-dally. So, oftentimes, fastest way to achieve a similar result is always going to be opted for. But yeah, that's just the way it has to be. And it makes sense. It makes sense, because it's business. It's business. Okay. So, let's go ahead and throw in a little bit more shading here, putting some more shapes going on in here. That's looking pretty good. Something about this is bothering me. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. That's enough of that. I don't like it. Let's go ahead and fix that. Fix whatever we need to fix. And get back to it. Okay. And then once I kind of like lay in the like general shape, I like to put kind of like flyaways of hair, right? I like to put like these types of things in. And that helps add a little bit more detail to it without doing too much, right? You don't have to do a lot, but it just adds that last little bit of detail and it looks cool! So why wouldn't you do it? Okay, so I'm going to start like kind of fading her hair in this area a little bit more pinkish because we're going to have Pix over here glowing and he's going to be lighting up her hair ever so lightly. So let's go ahead and take care of that, shall we? Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Hogan Warfare is asking, if subsurface scattering deals with your blood vessels, how would that look on purple blood zombies? Very, very interesting. It would actually, it would still kind of become red, like it would kind of go like a saturated red, but you just add a little bit more purple to it. And we should actually do a picture like that, where there's like some sort of subsurface happening on a zombie. That'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Not something you see every day, but I'm up for the challenge. Okay. And again, you guys, look at how I'm just working with value, right? I'm just working with shapes and value. That's basically all I'm doing here in order to create a sense of depth, right? Just adding, look at how I'm adding like purple into her hair. But I'm doing that because A, I kind of feel like it looks cool, and B, because you got to think about the red kind of on the other side of her shirt kind of reflecting up into this area, you know? It could happen. Why not? Why not? You are the god of your universe and you make the rules. I make the rules, okay? So, yeah. I make the rules with some holiday cheer. That's the way I do it. Speaking of holiday cheer, I know it sounds funny, but I'm excited for summer, but I'm even more excited for Christmas already. Because living in Utah, Christmases are even more magical because you have a chance to have white Christmas. You have snow and all these awesome things, and when you're not having to drive home in the blizzard from Chili's after a long day of work and almost killing yourself and freezing to death, which I almost did a few years ago back when I used to live here. I used to work at Chili's as a busboy, and I was driving home one day and the blizzard was so bad outside that you couldn't see like 5 feet in front of your car and you're driving really super slow. And the road that I'd used to get back to my house, there was actually a bus that overturned on it. So the people that lived up in that neighborhood were like seeking refuge in the local supermarket, right? It's called Smith's down here, but I'm sure you've heard of like Ralph's or whatever your local store is named after some man, you know, some old dude who started it like 50 years ago or 100 years ago. That store. That's where people were at. And I was like, no. I think I'm going to go home. And then I got the bright idea that I should run home while it is freezing cold outside in a blizzard, right, where I can't see in front of myself, and take the side dirt path home. Basically, it's like a side dirt road that wasn't finished yet. And yeah, while I was out there, I was like crossing these cars that are just like stranded there, and the snowdrifts were just like flush with the hoods of their cars, just like going up. There's people just like chilling in there, you know, just like, I guess they're like used to it. They're like, oh, it's just another one of these days. We just gotta sit in our car for a few hours and wait for the blizzard to cover us slowly, and yeah, just, you know, whip out the Game Boy, whip out the PS Vita, you know, and yeah, you just relax. But I wasn't used to that. And so naturally I noticed that my hands were starting to go numb. And I realized that I might actually have to knock on one of these car doors and ask them if I could come in there and snuggle with them. And I don't know if they were really going to enjoy that. So I kept running, and then luckily, by the gods, they sent my good neighbor, Mr. Charbonneau, in his four-wheel drive Jeep. It was literally like a movie. I was about to fall down in the snow, and my face in the snow, and just like become an icicle and just harden there and then become a caveman, right? But then Charbonneau comes up and he saves my life and he saves my hands, right? My fingers were literally about to freeze off, and that would have made things a little bit complicated for working for Riot in the future. So regardless, I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that I was saved. And that is why, I don't even remember why I got on that tangent. I was just telling you a nice little story there. I hope you enjoyed it. I forgot why I was telling it though. I need to get better at that. There was a reason, and I'll come back here and watch it, and I'll be like, oh, yeah. Alright guys, so watch what I do here. I'm going to kind of push these like darks in, and what it's going to do is it's going to make the hair look more shiny. I'm going to push some darks into this area here, and it's going to make the hair look shiny. Just putting a little of that in there. So I'm still just kind of working with the colors, just kind of laying it down and seeing how I feel about it, right? How does it make me feel? So that is the most important question to ask yourself. How does it make me feel? Spoiled little brat. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw in a little bit of this on the edge there. Showing your hair going back into space, into time and space. And let's have some more flyaways here. Good! Good. By the way, guys, I got an interesting story to tell you about yesterday's daily. For those of you who tuned in and watched it live, you will have known that I actually messed up on the first take and I had to do a second take. And I even messed up on that one, but I just like laughed it off and just kind of kept going for it. And many of you might not know why I was acting that way. I was acting rather strange. Not quite myself, maybe a little bit self-conscious, nervous. And that's because yesterday I was talking a lot about painting faces. This is actually one of the biggest things that I have trouble with doing in front of people, like painting faces, painting emotion, and just showing my process when I do this, because I rarely ever get it right the first time, and I want to make sure that you guys get this. I rarely ever get it right the first time, okay? It takes me many, many times to get these faces right, and it's a very, very slow process, so naturally me going into it and showing you, like, I wanted to make sure I was making a good impression, you know? It's like, yeah, that's right, I'm Keenan. Just watch me do this right. Watch me do this perfectly the first time, right? And of course it wasn't turning out exactly like I wanted to. Or I was like nervous, you know, because I didn't think that I'd be able to do that, or I knew I wouldn't be able to do that. So that's why I was acting kind of funny yesterday. But yeah, I thought a little bit about that, and I wanted to kind of take that to a message to you guys and kind of let you know that, you know, whenever you're trying something new, trying something for the first time, you know, allow yourself to, because I was kind of beating myself up about it later. I was like, why, like, what was I doing? I was totally off my game and just being stupid and being all nervous. I was like, I literally felt like I'd started the show over again. Like I had no experience with talking in front of people and no experience like just like doing the show. And it was kind of like a little bit like embarrassing to myself. I was like, what the heck is going on? And of course I'm being really hard on myself. But I thought about it and I was like, well, you know, it's like anytime I really step it up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show people how I do this technique. I'm going to show people how I paint faces. And I'm going to step out of my comfort zone a little bit. Naturally, you're just going to be a little bit nervous. So you got to allow yourself to do that. And you got to understand that it's not a negative thing. It's a very positive thing. It's a positive thing to feel that way. And that's okay. So I hope that you guys, you know, when you're trying things for the first time and you feel like it just doesn't go right, don't beat yourself up about it. Don't get down about it. Just realize, wow, you know what? If I'm feeling this way, it's because I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, and that's a very good thing. It's a very, very good thing because you're not going to feel that way forever. You know, you just got to keep at it. You got to keep putting your freaking nose to the grindstone and just not quitting, not giving up. And you will learn the technique that you desire. You will find what you seek. Yeah, but I was like stumbling all over my words and just being stupid, being dumb. Being a noob. But yeah. Alright, let me make sure I'm not missing your guys' things over here. Alright, so check out what we've done here. Oh, yeah, let's go back to this. Okay, so we started with that. And basically the way that I like to do hair is you'll notice I kind of like separate it into like strands or like chunks, right? And then I'll come back in here and then I'll add in like little details kind of coming through here. That's the way I personally like to do hair. I think it's really fun. And it's very, very simple. Just kind of chunk it the way that you want it. And yeah. But that's just one way to do it. There's all kinds of ways, but I think this is kind of like the quickest way to get that look without having to try too hard. And then you can build upon this. You know what I'm saying? You can build upon it and you can turn it into whatever you want it to look like. So I'm going to actually add in a couple more of these like flyaways here. Just put some texture on the edge, right? Like this. Witness. Witness the texture. There you go. That's the secret. It's all about the edge. All you got to do is put hair on the edge. You don't need to draw anything on the inside. All you got to draw is it on the edge. That's all you got to do. Lovely. Alright, now let me get back to these questions. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. If you guys have even been asking anything. Alright. Someone's asking about pics having antennas. That's Mr. Amigo. La Amigo. He's asking, Pix has antennas. No, he doesn't normally have antennas, but I just put them on here because I don't know, I just kind of like it. Taking some artistic liberties with the characters and Pix. I think I wanted him to look kind of cute, and I felt like he'd look a little more cute if he was more insectoid as opposed to kind of like the humanistic like looking fairy thing without the antennas. Makes him feel more human when you without antennas. So I kind of pushed him back to kind of the pet, kind of innocent little animal thing with the antennas, and I kind of liked it. Makes him look a little more curious, you know, with his antennas perked up like that. Yes, taking liberties. Again, remember, this is my land. This is my land, and I make the rules. And I feel good. It feels good to be king. Alright, saving that, and we should probably back it up too because I don't want to lose it like we did last time. I'm going to lose my lunch. Alrighty, let's send that to the backup disk. Jack is asking, how do you pick your base color when coloring, for example, the skin? That's a good question, Jack. Let me think of the best way to answer that. If you tuned into episode 84 of the KNKL show, which was last week's Tutorial Tuesday, you'll see that I was talking about setting up your sketches for paint, right? And basically, you're going to end up with something like this. Like you can see the sketch lines, and then I've put the lines on the front and then dropped the colors behind it, almost like an old-fashioned animation cell. And the way that I choose skin colors nowadays is, I don't know, because I used to go like, okay, well, it's peach, right? But I really try to avoid going into these quadrants up here and like here. I always try to like kind of come around this area, like bring myself right over into this area or this area, you know. And then as you want to make your skin darker, right, like for darker pigmented characters, you just kind of bring it down like this, right? And you just kind of start with that. And then in general, my way of shading skin is as the shadows come into the skin, right, they saturate, right? You're going to saturate your shadows, and as you go to light, you're going to desaturate. So you almost have like this diagonal gradient, as opposed to this is the skin, and now I got to make dark skin, so I go straight down, right? Make it go down and to the right to saturate. And that tends to make skin look more alive and awesome. And there's plenty of tutorials out there that talk about that, and I've done some tutorials of my own speaking about that whole theory with saturating skin colors and all that. All that jazz. Alright. Alrighty. People tuning in from Sweden. I don't know how you guys do that. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you guys doing? Is like set an alarm or something? Or are you up playing World of Warcraft or Counter-Strike? Or DayZ, like I have been lately. I've been getting back into DayZ. I really, really like that game. It's sweet! Alright. Now you'll notice I am putting a little bit of this kind of color reflected back up into here, like the orange, and just a little bit of kind of the reds, just to add a little bit of flavor. Make sure you don't lose the flavor in your art. There you go. And really, I think the reason why I like this style so much is because it's so experimental. It's just like, yeah, I feel like I'm going to add like some of this orange into the hair and see what that does. And it looks cool, right? Because then you're like, ooh, well, that could be coming from right here, right? It could be reflecting the light that's coming from the lollipop. And then your mind just automatically starts connecting what's happening with the color, and it almost will make excuses for it. It's like, oh, why is that color there? Oh, well, obviously because it's refracting off of the lollipop, right? And yeah, I think that you can just kind of pick up on these things, like as you work. Like if it looks good to your mind, if you look at it and you're like, oh yeah, that seems plausible, it's probably a good thing to do, right? Because your mind is most likely seen something like that before, and therefore it's seeing it again. It's like, yes, I know exactly what is happening, and I am not confused. And when your mind is not confused, it is pleased. So you always want to please your viewers and make sure they're not confused. Alright, let's go ahead and do that hair edge trick, right? We only draw hair on the edge because we're little cheaters like that, and we know how to work the system. Work the system, but don't try to beat it. Don't try to beat it. It'll come back. It'll come back and nip you in the butt. Alright. That's good. 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 Very good. I'm going to throw some more of this. Look at what color I'm using right now. It's literally like a desaturated blue. But look at how, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like the beauty of like the mixture of these colors. Like because it's next to this blue and this green, this takes on like a reddish look, doesn't it? This literally looks like kind of like a reddish hue, but it's actually desaturated blue. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what you call color relativity. Just because of the contrast of the colors, this looks like a warm color, but it's actually not. And when I started learning about this type of stuff, it literally blew my mind wide open, and it made me question everything I had ever known. And I would like to urge you to start working with some color relativity in your work as well. And the way that I think about it, the way that I've come to realize it now, is that it's kind of easy to do it, right? It's like, hey, there's a lot of blue happening here, so if an orange light is hitting it, it's actually going to turn it gray. I bet you if I take this color right here, it looks orange, but it's actually desaturated blue. Look at that. Isn't that interesting? Because you think about it, on the color wheel, blue and orange are separate from each other. So if you mix them together, you get gray, right? And if you put gray on a blue area, it's going to look orange. It's going to look like it is turning darker. Very, very interesting. Is it not? I love that. Love it! But that's enough color relativity crap for one day. Let's just keep drawing because we need to go light speed and finish this. After I finish Poppy's hair, it looks like I need to go into her clothes. And I really got to work with Lulu's hands and her feet and all that stuff. That's going to take a little while. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this within the hour, but it's worth a shot. In fact, I'm going to throw it up to a vote. What would you like to see me work on next? Just say over in the chat. I can work on Lulu's clothes and like her hands and stuff. I can work on Poppy's clothes. I can work on Pix. I can work on Lollipop. Whatever you want to see me work on next, please just say it over in the chat to your right, and I'll do that. And we'll have some fun. We'll have lots of fun. And if I'm feeling really good, which I am, I'm feeling kind of frisky today, especially after the terrible performance that was yesterday. I kind of want to go a little bit longer. Maybe I'll go like an extra 10 minutes. Maybe. Don't want to make any promises, but crazy thought that came into my head. My gut says to do it, and lately I've been trusting my gut, and a lot of good things have been happening. Good things, good things. I actually don't like these shapes. I'm going to kind of round those off a little bit. Okay. Good. Good. Very good. We need to put a little bit more blue in here. A bit more darkness in these areas. Again, let's push that up. Yeah, that looks good. Very good, very good. Go ahead and take care of this edge over here. And then another thing that I like to do, guys, is like when you're picking out like shapes for your hair, notice how these are all about the same thickness. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. I think a good thing, like in general. You guys hear that? Jeez, it's like some freaking lightning outside. Or, excuse me, thunder. Thunder outside. But I'm sure there's lightning too. That was kind of scary. Okay, but anyway, like I was saying, notice how these are all about the same size. Make sure that you're varying up your sizes of chunks of hair. Like these are a little bit better, but it's almost like a 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to combine these two into one. So it's going to be like 1, 2, 3. And watch, it's going to actually look a little bit better. And that is because the human eye likes variation. Likes a little bit of variation. From what I've seen. Lovely! Alright, I actually want to bring this up just a little bit. Put a little more depth in that. A little bit of that in there. That's the ticket! Alright, and I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger too. Bow, 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 bow. Shine out, bow. Alright, there we go. Now we've got big, medium, small. Or big, medium, small. Okay? Always be thinking about that. Get some good variation in there. Otherwise, your hair pieces will be boring. You don't want boring hair pieces. You want lively hair pieces. Okay. Alright, not focusing on that anymore. No more. No more! We're done. Okay, so now we can see it's working out quite well. I'm going to back this up again and take a look over here at the questions. What do you guys want to watch me work on? Okay, it looks like we got an even amount of votes for each of the ideas. We got pics, lollipop, and clothes. Alright, well then I guess it's gonna be a Wheel of Fortune type thing, and we're just gonna do a random thing. So I'm gonna say, let's work on Lulu's clothes, because, yeah, I need to get these things done. I need to get these things worked out. I'm liking her hair so far, but yeah, her clothes really need to get done. So, let's go ahead and focus on that. Moving on. Moving on. So I'm going to add a little bit more exposure into the light that's hitting the clothes here. So it's going to make them a little bit brighter. Like that. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Start throwing in these lights here. And really, guys, again, I'm just working with a lot of shapes. Just think about the contrast of shapes. Don't worry about lines. Don't think about lines. Think about shapes. That is the secret. That is the secret that the world does not want you to know. Alright. That's a little too crazy. Let's fix that. Good. Okay, now here's something I want to talk to you guys about. Okay, so see how this light is hitting right here? This is white light, and it is going to reflect back up into her hair. Okay, so watch this. So it's going to hit right here, and it's going to reflect back into this area. See that? That's where your art starts taking another turn. It starts becoming something more, right? Because you're showing not only the direct light, but reflected light. Whoa, crazy. And again, it's probably not exactly perfect, but we do what we have to. We do what we can. It's not about being perfect. It's just about recalling those memories. Recoloring and recalling those sensory memories, right? That your viewer may or may not have had, but most likely will have had. So you want to take advantage of that. Yeah, that's what it is. Recalling sensory memories. I never thought about it that way. I like it. I like it. Alright, so we got a little bit of like this ambient light that I want to throw in over here. Yeah, a little bit of that ambient light. Let's get that in there. Good. 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 Very good. Alright, shiny bits there. Let's go ahead and take care of this leather strap here. Put a little bit of a shine there. A little specular on that area right there. Good. Let's go ahead and get some darkness in there for the lines. I'm going to really have this be dark in this area because there's almost no light getting in here. So this can be very, very dark. There's just a tad bit of light coming in like that. But for the most part, it's very dark. Throwing some darkness in there. Cool, cool, I like that. Throwing some more darkness in these areas too. And let's color these little flower petal thingies on her neck. This is so cute. Gotta love them. There we go. Just kind of keeping those values crisp in there so we know what's happening. Cool. All right. Now let's see. What do we have next? Let's go and throw a little bit of shadow in this area over here. That feels pretty good. I'm going to darken this. Cool. Cool. All right. Ambient light over here again. Ambient lighting. Just kind of throwing in a little bit more of these lines in areas where I feel like I want them, just to make sure the shapes are coming through very, very clearly. So I don't actually get rid of all of the lines. I keep the lines where I need them, but because 90% of them have been removed, you'll naturally look at the finished picture and be like, oh, well, there's no lines. I don't see any lines. And that is exactly what I want you to think. There we go. Cool. Another thing that I think really goes into my style and kind of like my blending technique is I just grab the colors. Like sometimes I'll grab the color of a line and be like, okay, I like this dark purple. I'm just going to throw it in here. And then did you notice how I kind of like just blended it into this white so that this could pop out more? That's basically what I do. That's basically what I do. Not too much skill involved in that. It's just efficient. Let's just say that. It's efficient. There we go. Hey, that's looking great. Let's go ahead and compare to what we had before. So we've already gone from this to this. See, guys, we're naturally filling things out. And we're creating the picture via value and shape. No lines. No lines for you. I'm going to throw in a little bit of this blue because I really like that. I just grabbed a little bit of blue light from the sky. I'm adding it in over here. Put a little bit over here too. Lovely. That looks kind of ugly right there. Looks ugly. Let's fix it. There you go, that's better. Soften. When in doubt, just soften it. Alright. Oh, Amigo, yes. He's asking, how am I changing the brush size on the fly? It is the left and right angle brackets, the things that look like this, things that look like that, and that. They're right above the right enter key. And yeah, those will adjust your brush size on the fly, and I really like working with that. You can also do it if you have like one of those newfangled Wacom tablets with the wheel on it. You can also do that, but I don't know, I just like having my fingers on, like, this hand on the Wacom tablet, this hand on the keyboard. This feels natural. Feels really good, natural. Alright, so I'm just blending this area out. I want some dark values in here. So I'm just bringing some dark values around here, like that. That's going to really help all of these pieces stand out. And that's very good. It's very good for us. Drawing yordles. Alright, so now guys, I'm going to start moving into her hands. And I'm actually going to put this on a separate layer because skin, I think, is probably one of the most important things to get right when you're doing a painting with a character in it. Because it seems like the first places that I look in any picture is always wherever there's skin. First, it's the faces. Second, it could be like the hands, I think, are also very expressive. And then wherever there is skin. You were so naturally like in tune to what skin should look like, you got to make sure you do a good job on it. And then the clothes and everything, those can be kind of, I don't want to say secondary, but you know, there's so much more room for play, but there's only a few different types. You know, it's skin, right? You got skin, and then you just got colors of skin. But everybody's seen skin, and everybody knows how skin works. So it's hard to fool the reader, or the viewer. Alright, so one thing I am going to do here is I'm going to make sure that the light that's hitting her skin is coming through here, and we're showing the bright contrast, right? Because the light is supposed to be hitting her skin here, but not hitting her face here. And then it's also going to be going into shadow right around here, too. So, making sure we're creating proper shading techniques, proper communication of what is happening. I'll throw in the hands. The hands, as some call it. Again, I like to not put too much detail into my hands either because I really like to simplify hands because I feel like you can have a very, very simple gesture on a hand and it can still look amazing, right? You can have a great, great gesture on a hand and not even put that much work into it. So I'm going to put a little bit of light on there, right there, like that. And you see how I'm just starting to like sculpt in these hands, sculpt in these fingers? But I'm relying on shapes. I'm relying on shapes. I'm not going in there and being like, oh, okay, all right. Well, the finger has like 3 joints, so here's the knuckle. So this one happened precisely right there. The bend in that finger would happen right there. And then I got to go through here and do that. It's like you start to understand and you start to pick up on patterns that happen with the fingers. Like there's always like a natural flow that happens through your hand, like whenever it's gesturing. And I think that those are the kinds of things that I really took a lot of interest in, and I kind of took some time to study. And now I've gotten to the point where I just kind of know how to just pull it out, right? Almost like a rabbit out of a hat. Most of the time. Sometimes with more complicated things, of course, I'll use reference. But most of the time, I'm able to kind of just nail it. And I like it. I like when things just fall into place. Love it when a hand comes together. Alright, so yeah, you guys can see how that's coming along. I'm liking that. Then I'll come back in here and just kind of erase the edges wherever I don't want it. Can you guys see that? You see the hand kind of taking shape without much work having to be done? Really like that. In fact, where's this other thumb going to be? It's going to be right about there. And again, keeping in mind your values. You want to make sure that the values are set in place so that way you'll look at this and you'll easily be able to tell what's happening with that hand. Yeah! Like it. I like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on up. Get on up. Alright, let's drop these values back in here. This is actually going to be very, very dark in here because not much light is getting to that point. Not much. Not much. Cool. And again, let's put in some more shadow in these areas. There'll be very little sunlight or ambient light getting to these areas in here. Let's just make sure they're so nice and dark. Strangely enough, they still read as white, right? You look here and it's like, oh, that's the white dress. It's just in shadow, right? This is what it looks like, and that's what it looks like in the shadow. Brilliant! And that, again, is also relativity at work. Even though you're painting with a, what is this? It's like a way desaturated gray purple. It's white. You are painting white right now. Isn't that clever? Alright, let me make sure I'm getting everything over here. As far as questions go. Zuyang Tan is asking a good question. He's saying, Keenan, would you ever consider working for Riot again? Because you're going to become a hobo if you keep working on Emma. He put it a lot nicer than that, but essentially that's what he's asking. And my answer to that is I don't plan on going back to work for Riot full-time, but I am, I don't know if you heard this yet, Zuyang, if you mind if I call you that. Zuyang. I really like that. Sweet. But I am working on contract for Riot when I need to. And yeah, it's really, really nice because I get to choose when I work and I get to work from home. And I really, really enjoy that. But even if I wasn't able to do that, like say something came up and I wasn't able to do that, I just don't know if I'd be able to give up the comic. It's just, it's become such a big part of my life that I can't just give it up. I just had to find the way, you know? I have to find the way, and I know I'm gonna find the way. You know, regardless of what happens. Riot, the contract work that I'm doing for Riot is definitely making it easier, but you know, I'm not calling it quits. I'm not calling it quits if that goes away. I'll find some other way to make money. But yeah, these thoughts have gone through my head a few times, and yeah, I've definitely come to terms with it. And I'm okay with it. You know, it's something worth fighting for. The lifestyle that I have now is something that I've wanted for so long, to be able to create something myself. And what it's already become, it's like the money doesn't even matter at this point, because I mean, the only thing the money does is it creates the means to the end, right? But the experience is happening right now, right? Like the fact that people are doing concept art and fan art of my comic, of my IP, is something that is so amazing that can't happen. It's just like money cannot buy that. No amount of money could make somebody want to draw my character. Well, unless it's like a commission. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not about the business necessarily. The business just makes it go. But really, it's all about the experience. And the experience is happening right now. And it feels really, really good. And life has taught me anything, is that when you're doing something and it just gives you this feeling of really good, it means you got to keep doing it. You got to find a way to do it. And in some ways, it's like you can't even be satisfied with going back to something else. You know what I mean? Once you've experienced that that true sense of, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, you can't be satisfied with going back to the way that you used to do things. It's really, really weird. But I urge that you guys would look into that, right? Like, ask yourself what you really want to do. And I'm not saying that working professionally is a bad thing, but I'm happy that I got the job at Riot. I'm happy that I was able to get the experience, and I think it was a part of the journey. But there was a point where I realized that there was something inside of me that needed to be expressed, and that was I needed the freedom to make my own thing, to make my own comic and to tell my story. And not everybody needs that, but I needed it. And that's why I'm doing this right now. And also, yeah, it's like I'm not even working on the comic all the time. It's like I'm working on it throughout the week. But I also got these side projects going too, because just because it's what I love doing doesn't mean that it never gets tiring or it's never challenging, you know? I think that sometimes can be a false expectation that people set up. It's like, yeah, when you're doing what you love, it never gets old, right? But it does. It does get old. But it comes and goes, right? It doesn't stay old. What you got to do is when it gets to that point where you're not sure, you're kind of questioning yourself, you're wondering if you're doing the right thing, that's your chance to find the motivation again. That's your chance to find the reasons. You got to have those reasons, because when you fall back on those things, then you get re-energized and you jump back into it with all the zest and vigor that you had when you first started it. And that's an art in itself. And that's why I talk so much about, that's why I believe so much in this Thoughtful Thursday, because I think that art is a lifestyle. Art is a lifestyle, and I think that there's so many like tutorials out there with just how to do it, but there's not enough tutorials out there about how to live it, you know, or I don't want to say tutorial, but like thoughts, you know, thoughts about how to live this artistic lifestyle, because artists are unique people. Artists are very unique people that have this need, it's almost this addiction. We need to express ourselves in the form of creating art, right? And I think that that's so cool. And because we are living with this addiction, I mean, I hate calling it that too because it's like negative, but it's kind of funny too. It's like you're addicted to like expressing yourself. I think it's cool, and it is healthy. It's a healthy addiction. You know what I mean? Like you're addicted to working out, you know, working out and staying healthy. But yeah, I just think it's so interesting how there's a mental game. There's a mental game that goes into art that I think a lot of people haven't really even begun to scratch the surface of yet. And I'm hoping to maybe, just maybe, open some insight into that by way of kind of figuring out myself, right? I can't believe how scary it was, like, or how scary it is to like live my life today and constantly, you know, I always have these parts of my life where I'm like, oh yeah, I got it all figured out. Oh, okay, now I'm older and I'm smarter and I know what's going on, right? And then for a couple years later to always look back and say, man, I didn't know crap about life. I didn't know crap about what I was doing or where, you know, what was most important. And then I start having those thoughts, or I start having those realizations, you know, pretty periodically, like actually very, very commonly. And that's a very kind of like scary but like humbling experience. And yeah, I'm hoping to kind of document that via the daily and maybe shed some light on that subject. Because I think art is not only technical, but it's mental. It's mental. You're all mental! So yeah, let's see. What are you guys saying over here? Pony Sharp is asking, I'd still really like to see a KNKL show over paneling and comic pacing. Pony Sharp, yes, I would love to do some comic book stuff. I'm actually in the process of reading a really, really great comic book, or How to Make Comics, by Scott McCloud. And for those of you who have not checked this book out ever, it is actually probably the best book that you could ever read that talks about making comics. I literally opened this thing up and like 30 pages into it, I immediately started redrawing the layouts that I had done for the next Emma part, right? I was making all these changes, changing stuff up, framing things better, and it just totally improved the quality of the comic that you guys are going to be seeing soon, right? So I'd definitely go check that out if you're curious about looking at something right now. But I would love to talk about my take on comic style, comic pacing, and paneling, and all that stuff. So yeah, you can definitely look forward to something like that very soon. Pony Sharp. Alright. How much longer we got? Oh, we got 5 minutes left. Alright, so if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and ask them. I thought about going a little bit longer, but I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't want to bore you guys, especially those of you in Sweden staying up till like 4:30. I don't want you to feel like you missed anything. So any remaining questions, please ask them now. And if there's not any, then we'll just wrap things up. Wrap it up! And I got to finish this because I'm going to be doing something very fun with this, guys. I'm actually going to be posting this on the League of Legends forums when I'm done with it. And I'm going to be asking people to, I'm going to post this picture, and I'm also going to put like chat bubbles, because I look at these characters and I was like, what are these characters thinking? Like those, like in Reader's Digest, they do like the caption this picture or caption this comic. And I want to do something like that. So I'm going to put in some sort of like chat bubble around these characters, and then I'm going to have like a little bit of like a contest possibly, where I'm giving away like some RP cards to the top, like the funniest things that people will come up with for these characters to say. So yeah, I really want to get this thing done and post it up there so that way we can get this thing started. Another contest? Yes, I'm addicted to contests. I'm addicted to contests because I'm an addict and a crazy artist person. Alright. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and load up the epic outro music and we are going to say our goodbyes. I'm sorry, but it is time that we do say goodbye. I'm really happy you brought that thing up, Zhu Yang. I really hope I'm saying your name right. If not, you can slap my wrists and tell me, no, you say it like this, and then give me a good dictionary translation or dictionary pronunciation thing. And yeah, that'll be good. Okay, man, I seriously hate this new iTunes. So confusing. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and end day 58 of the KNKL live stream. Thank you guys for joining me live on Ustream, as usual. And for those of you on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kienan Lafferty. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Thoughtful Thursday. We're going to be going into kind of something that was brought up by Zhu Yang. I really like that he asked that question about you know, considering working for Riot and kind of what that feels like, you know, doing the business, this uncertainty of getting money to keep going and all that stuff. I think that's going to be a really good Thoughtful Thursday tomorrow. But until then, you guys take care. See ya.